Hey everyone, and welcome back to Swan Valley Zoo for episode 6. Hope you guys enjoyed the slightly new intro, little stop motion thing. I've had a lot of people ask if I could do like speed builds and things like that, and it's just really not how I work. Like I'd find that very difficult to actually produce a decent looking speed build for you guys, so I was trying to figure out ideas of how I could sort of capture the process a little bit. And I think I quite like what I did at the start of this video. I think I could definitely improve on it next time as well. And if you guys have any ideas or any feedback on how it went or what you'd like to see or alternatives to speed builds or whatever, I'd love to hear them because, yeah, the standard speed build format is just, not something I can really do, unfortunately. All right, so in today's episode, we're going to be checking out the first exhibit of the Predators of Africa section. So we'll get started right away. So for context of where we are, we're sort of coming off the back of the Savannah exhibits. And we can see the Cheetah Ridge up there, which we finished in the last episode when we did the Hornbill Aviary. So yeah, coming down off this path takes us towards the Predators of Africa. We've got little service gates that go to they're like staff access to the barns for the wildebeest and springbok. So here's our entrance sign. So there's going to have to be quite a shift moving into this section, which is what I'm trying to kind of begin in this area. So we're coming off the back of the Savannah exhibits and the Savannah restaurant, which are, these really open spaces, lots of sky, lots of broad sweeping vistas and landscapes. And for this section, I really want to close that in, bring that in, make it much more cozy is probably not the great word, but we're leaving behind the open savanna and we're starting to think more about, the idea of long grass and prowling creatures in the grass and the trees and the crocodile lurking in the water and stuff like that. Trying to really enclose the spaces, making the walkways more narrow, the areas just generally more closed in. So here we have the sign. Couple statues which are meant to represent some of the animals that we'll be seeing on this trail. So we've got a crocodile down the front, a lion up on the left. It is a wolf statue in the top right. It is meant to be a wild dog, and I think it does. It's close enough, we'll say. Does the job. My personal favorite detail here is the "Please do not climb" sign. It's just one of the little billboards that I think they added them in a later update. We definitely didn't get them with billboards originally. They're like a tinier size. Instead of having to use the memorial plaques or whatever, there's actually just a really small billboard size, so it's fun. While we're here, I just want to quickly show you this area at night time. Some pretty groovy lighting. So ominous, so spooky. Alright, pop it back to the trusty 2 o'clock. Alright, so we'll get started. So we'll be looking at the first exhibit here, which is actually for the Caracal. So this little entryway will get completed as we finish up more exhibits. So to the left here is going to be a painted dog, African wild dog exhibit, which obviously is not done just yet. But then coming up is our Caracal exhibit. So this little section here has got Caracal on the right, and then in progress on the left is going to be a honey badger or ratel exhibit. But yeah, we're just going to be looking at the Caracal today. So head on through to the viewing gallery. See if we can spy animal. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Sleeping in the little cave. Pretty groovy. So we've just got the one Caracal in here, just the one female. This is her exhibit. So lots of elevated sort of platforms and climbing opportunities for her. So pretty common theme with a lot of, especially solitary predators, is how they get their sense of security is, from vantage points, making sure they can see around their area, make sure no one's sneaking up on them. So it's important for the Caracal that she has lots of platforms like that where she can get high up, she can see lots of the area around, and she can feel nice and safe and secure. So we'll turn around for a second and just start checking out some of the interps that we have in the area. So interps is just it's a word they use in the zoo biz. It's probably used elsewhere, but I'm familiar with it from the zoo business. It's just another word for like signage and education and things like that. So yeah, interpretations or interps. So we just got a generic sign here for the Caracal distribution map. I forget every time who it is. It's either Lion or just Goron. Made these implied signage sets. They're on the workshop. They're super popular. You guys are probably already familiar with them. And also speaking of other content creators, so Wyatt Andrews Workshop in one of his recent videos was talking about how he loves to see when people utilize storytelling in zoos, and especially obviously when people do that in Planet Zoo. And that's definitely something I totally agree with and would love to do more as well as we progress and develop more of the zoo. So for the predators, it's an idea that's been done to death. You see it in a lot of zoos, but it's the idea, if we look at these predators, these dangerous animals, and how scary and intimidating they are, and in reality, the most lethal, the most dangerous animal out there is us and the things we do to these apex keystone species. So the Caracal's starting us off on that journey with predators, not pets. So obviously small cats, big cats even, very common in the wildlife trade, illegal or otherwise, depending on where you live. So yeah, the zoo's taken the opportunity to start educating guests on that and really send that message home. And then behind us, we have a little bit more of a fun one. So really notable thing about Caracal is they're like vertical leap. They can jump standing still vertically like 3 meters straight into the air and catch birds mid-flight and stuff like that. So that's pretty metal. So there's a fun little thing here where, guests can obviously find that out and then see how they compare, where they can jump up 3 meters high or not. Even, a 6-foot human can try and jump to 3 meters. Imagine being a little cat like that guy. So, yeah. Head around, lots of nice viewing. Got the twisted liana vines coming off the marula tree, which I think is a cool vibe. And again, this is, we're trying to shade the area again, enclose the spaces, not so much open sky. Trying to bring the perspective in a lot closer. So we've got a more open area on the left hand of the exhibit, and then it obviously elevates up into, a bit more rocky, bit more overgrown space for them to climb. And then the coolest feature for me of this exhibit is we've got a bit of an enrichment feeder here. So the idea of this is that it's a hook attached to a winch. The keepers can attach food onto the end of that and then wind it back out. And then the Caracal has to jump to get the food. So really cool to see. The visitors would absolutely love it. It's great for the animal as well. It's really important in exhibit design that goes climbing up the tree. That we design spaces to provide the animals with opportunity to utilize all of their capabilities, trying not to make everything so easy for them. These are spectacular animals with spectacular abilities, so making sure they have opportunities to use the full extent of those. So that's the idea behind this enrichment feeder. We'll see the rest of it here. So this is a little keeper platform, which has the access point for that winch feeder. There's a talk point here too, because obviously we'd love to take the opportunity for visitors to see something so cool. Let's do a keeper talk at the same time, let guests know exactly what they're seeing and everything else about Caracals. So we'll jump up on this platform quickly. So here's where the keepers would come up. There's a door which they'd access via the dens. We've got a little window, we can peek into the dens. We'll have a proper look at them later. And then, yeah, so the idea is the keepers would use the winch down here, wind back the hook, then open the latch, attach some food to it, wind it back out, and then let the animal have at it. So the Caracal, just like the cheetah, if you watch that episode, these guys would be worked protected contact in this zoo. So meaning staff never share a space with the animal. So if the keepers have to access even through this hatch, or they have to go out onto exhibit to clean, they'd lock the animal in the den. And then if they had to get into the dens, the animal would have to be locked out on exhibit. So the keepers are never in the same space as that animal. With the exception of if it's like under anesthetic for a vet procedure or something, but yeah, obviously. So this Caracal would have a good training regime, she'd know how to lock down in her dens, recall to her dens, and be happy with the slide closing down so the keepers can access and set up the enrichment feeder and stuff. So yeah, I was pretty happy with this little idea. I think it's cool. It's a cool opportunity for the guests to see something a little bit different, something I've not seen in too many other builds. Very common in real life. Lots of Caracal exhibits have this sort of thing to get those Caracals jumping. Yeah, so we'll jump back down. Hopefully the game lets us. There we go. Get around. So yeah, this will be the honey badger exhibit, the start of it. That'll be in our next episode. Gone through our gate here, a little gap. This was a trick that I saw. I think it was a remnant video, a Balboa Zoo episode. He got the idea from someone else. Just a little gap so the keepers reach through, open up the latch, and then come through. Here's our back of house. That will be the future back of house for the honey badger. Got some wheelie bins. We got a electrical panel there for all the den electricity. Then we've got a aircon unit, a drying rack, little fence keeping out of no man's land. We can see through the back there. That's our vet facility from way back in episode 2, episode 1, episode 2, I think. So we'll head on into the Caracal dens. So with any animal space, good idea to have a little window. Make sure, no doors have been accidentally left open. No animals are where they shouldn't be before you enter there. You don't want to be walking into a unsafe situation, but it's all good. So we'll head on in. Here's the den. So it's a pretty basic den in comparison, which was a bit of a relief for me. Some of the complex dens are a lot of work, so I was happy to do something a little bit simpler. The mesh and like chain link in the door and all of that, that's a set from Toves. Toves Plays. He's another content creator. One of my favorites. He's amazing, and he's really good at making these modular building sets. And in his words, it's a lot more work up front, but you save on it later because, the modular nature of it, so customizable to different spaces. So we've got the aircon, we've got the tools, the hose, ceiling fan, lights, some ventilation. Got plenty of platforms for the Caracal to jump up on to rest. Got the window for natural light, a bit of enrichment. Water ball with a tap above it. Little feeding hatch, door. There's the slide, of course, with a slide handle. Red for exhibit slides, if you remember from the previous videos. Doesn't matter too much here because it's only the one slide, so there's not a differentiation between you're going to be opening an exhibit slide or an internal slide or whatever. But it's just good to keep it consistent across the whole zoo, I think. Got a whiteboard, making sure communication, all the keepers that work the round are across any changes that might be happening down here. Alright, we'll head out onto exhibit. So same door, another little window, just so you can double check. Although before you're heading out on exhibit, you should be able to just look into the dens and see the animals there and then be like, okay, and the slide is down. We'll head on out. Or we won't. Planet Zoo will Planet Zoo. Jump out. There we go. So yeah, here's the exhibit. I was really happy with this one actually, as I've been working through the Africa section, developing the foliage palette, getting better at using that foliage palette has been really, really nice. We were very lucky to see at the start of the video the Caracal can climb this tree, which is pretty cool. There's a little access into the den. Like all the den spaces, it's usable thanks to the Planet Zoo Plus mod, which reduces the hitboxes for the animals. The Caracal can go through that space there and does go in the dens. Hopefully we'll be lucky enough to see that. Got some enrichment, rubbing pad, prey sack. We saw it in the cave as well, which was cool. It's actually the first time I think I'd seen the animal in there myself, so that was groovy. Yeah, all meshed in. There shouldn't really be any dodgy overlap, which was as difficult as it sounds. It took me a minute. And here we go up here. So this is sort of the refuge space for the Caracal. If it's up here, hiding in the grass, the people can't really see it, which is important. Make sure the animal has some space to get away from all the attention if it wants. There it goes, kicking a box off the cliff, being a typical cat. So pretty cool. Yeah, the vantage points that the cat would be able to get from these platforms, I think would be pretty amazing. You can look over the whole zoo. It's important, the animals get good views, not just the people. If it's lucky, it could see some wildebeest in the holding paddock off to the back there. It's pretty exciting for it. Yeah. And there's the winch, the hook, winch feeder. Cool. Oh, there we go. Alrighty. Well, that brings us to the end of the Tegid Cam portion of it. We'll jump out into free look and have a look at things from above. So I really love the shape of this exhibit. I think it's a really cool kind of silhouette. You've got, of course, any opportunity for some renewable energy options. Got some solar panels on top of the dens, just like we've done elsewhere. Yeah. So that's that for the Caracal exhibit. Hope you guys liked it. So a few things still that I'm unsure if I want to do or not. So with the cheetah, we had the little signs that had a picture of the animal and name of the animal and that stuff. We don't have a name for the Caracal yet. I figured I might put that to you guys if you want to come up with a name for her. So it's just the one girl. As it stands, the zoo's not got plans to breed Caracal. With the den setup we have, there's no way to separate the males or females. The only option would be to bring in a male, just have it mate and then send it off, which is a bit tricky, less than ideal. So if that's something you really want to see, some Caracal kittens, we can see in the future maybe, you know, might move the Caracals around, swap some exhibits, maybe adjust the dens. We can renovate them a bit to make it more suitable. Yeah, let me know if that's something you want to see the zoo try and do in the future. And yeah, one, if you want to name the Caracal, any suggestions, and if I should put a sign as well showing the Caracal's name, just like we did with the cheetah, if that's something you guys would like to see. All right, we'll leave you guys with one last view of our Caracal, and thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it's not too long before the next episode. The honey badger exhibit is coming along nicely, and yeah, let me know if you guys have any feedback at all, how you liked the new intro, the stop motion thing, anything else you'd like to see, any changes you liked about the exhibit, anything you like, anything you didn't like. Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.